guys, you've owned this home for a month now. Do you remember how we found it?
Oh my God.
How did we find it? We'd spent a good few weeks looking for places in Vancouver because we were already in East Van, so that was sort of where we had set our criteria. But realistically, like for the money that we had, we weren't able to get the square footage that we were looking for. We wanted to expand, and so we started looking at other places, and we landed in Port Moody, and we found what we thought for sure was out of our reach. It was the perfect townhouse and like in the perfect neighborhood, and you know, it had the view and it had the deck and it had the garage and it had all of these things that we just thought, well, that would be nice in another lifetime. But we took it seriously and we acted quickly, and we both decided that Port Moody's just not that far. When we were first seriously looking into this, I remember making an offer verbally and speaking with the sales agents, and you were constantly in contact with us, and kind of things went quiet for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden we got a call saying, hey, you know, we know you're serious about this, but we've got an offer on the table right now from out of the province, and they're ready to move on this. And I remember we were sitting and eating dinner, and we're like, what do we do? So I remember you had reached out and you were like, don't worry, I've got, you know, this person on the phone. If you're serious about this, like, we can move and we can make this yours. And I remember just thinking like, cool, it's in Josh's hands, and we hope that all works out. And it did. And you know, like that evening, I think we were able to close.
That's right.
He gave us the call, and it was ours.
What's nice about the new developments is there's that rescission period of 7 days where you can change your mind. So we just moved quickly, got it under contract, kept those other buyers out, and then I remember when we came to issue the deposit, and your mom was with us, and she was like in tears. She was so happy.
So happy.
I've never seen that before. It was really touching.
I've seen it before. A few times.
She does that. Yeah.
We were considering selling our place, and we knew that we had made a profit in the last 5 years since we've owned it. We didn't really know how much, and so that was kind of where we needed to rely on you to tell us what's the neighborhood looking like, what have the most recent sales been, and so it was a very big learning period for us. We had never gone through the selling process before, and so initially you had come over. And this was one of those moments where we didn't know what to expect, and I was a little nervous, but you had everything from all of our neighboring buildings. You know, like, this is a unit that meets a lot of the same criteria, and it sold for this, so we're thinking of selling it for this. And I remember thinking that's a lot more than we bought it for, so which is just kind of goes to show, like, keep an eye on what your home is valued at if you're interested in moving up. And neither of us really understood how that worked on your side. Like, how did you sell it for what you did?
Yeah.
You know what, the secret to your place was really presentation, pricing, and targeting the right audience, because in that moment in East Vancouver, it was like a very, very strong seller's market. There was a lot of bidding wars and not a lot of things for people to choose from. And your place was just so well presented, from the updates you'd done on lighting fixtures to the cleaning up. I remember when we had our initial consult over Zoom, and I said, how about that shelving unit behind you? And I mean, we left that in there, it ended up not being a big deal, but everything was immaculate, and then we had priced it really aggressively, kind of below where you wanted to sell it. But that would be to drive all the interest and get multiple people through and create that bidding war, because that's what you can do in a busy seller's market. It was probably the best month to sell, actually, all of this year. So the timing could not have been better, and you didn't have to get in a bidding competition for the one you bought. But I think what was really unique about your place, and something I've done since that selling yours with other people and found success, is that we took before bringing your home on the market, we marketed it privately to a select group of real estate agents, people that I knew had lost out on bidding wars with their clients like in days prior, and people that had done sales in the neighborhood in the last few months of similar things. And out of that, I think we showed your place to 2, possibly 3 people over the course of an hour on a weekday afternoon, and all of them wrote you offers within 3 hours after that. And you had all of those were over asking offers, and then we ended up taking one that was kind of middle of the road because it was a very had no subjects, and we found the unique story of the buyer happened to be a colleague of yours, Oliver, at work. So it was a great story, and I think we could not have done it without the way you presented it, and the coming soon campaign marketing just created a lot of convenience for you, especially in the middle of COVID. You know, there's some anxiety around that, and it allowed you to move into this place without having to do any kind of bridge financing. It was just a very seamless move, and I understand the buyer is very happy too. What's something you told all your friends about that was you weren't expecting?
Well, I mean, we showed everyone the video you made of our place, and it was like being the subject of like being on Cribs or something like that. Like seeing our place presented in the way that you had framed everything. Like it was just fantastic.
Yeah, that's not how having been quarantining essentially for a year in that apartment, and then seeing it in the way that you presented it was really kind of mind-blowing.
And close second for me was also just the day where, I mean we're working from home because we're distributed, and when all the buyers were coming in to see the place, and I had to go like run down to a cafe and take a meeting out there to make sure that another buyer could come look at the place, and then you phoning us with like all the offers that just kept coming in, and that story unfolding that day, and you took us through that whole thing like we were just your partners as it was happening in real time, and just that story, how that all unfolded, and then we took that final offer, and that story was just fantastic.
I think my favorite thing about working with you guys on this was that you really took my guidance really to heart, and seriously, you presented the place really well. And you definitely heard me when I said decisive action is the way to win in Vancouver real estate, and that got you this beautiful townhome, and that got you all these clients ready to purchase at a higher than market value. So congratulations on your new home. I'm so glad to see the Instagram stories up on the rooftop patio, and just what you've done with the place.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, Josh.
Work in progress, yeah. That's all thanks to you.
Yep.